positive 10 equals 0. Okay, notice the constant will subtract from the constant. Okay, and so we have y squared plus 7y plus 10 equals 2. Now we can factorize this and then solve. Y squared times 10, first time to last. What would that be? Let's do a little side work here. We have 10. We know 2 and 5 will work. 2 5's 10 and give us 7. And so it would be y squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10. And this will give us y, open bracket, y plus 2. I made a mistake here. This should have been y, because we're not dealing with x. Okay, notice this pure y. So sorry about that. It should be 5y. This will give us y plus 2. Don't forget to put the equal 0. Okay? And this will give us positive 5. Check it back. Y squared 2y, 5y, 5y, 5 2 is 10. Okay, good. And then we factorize y plus 2, y plus 5 equals 0. Then we can solve. Y will be negative 2 and this one will be negative 5. Same size, opposite sign. Let's check either y plus 2 equals 0, where y is equal to negative 2, or y plus 5 equals 0, where y is equal to negative 5. Okay, so these are our two solutions. So with this one, we can just simply say y plus 4 equals 0. We have to first remove this from here, or we could expand first, then subtract the 2 from both sides, and then solve. Okay? Alright, good. But if we're given one like this, where it's equal to 0 already, we simply say either one of the factors equals 0. Since we're multiplying two numbers give you 0. Either one or both equals 0. Okay, so we're looking at 3e and 3e. We multiply out. First of all, now recognize you'll end up with p squared. So this is quadratic. 4p times p is 4p squared. 4p times that would be 12p. And the plus 9 is by itself. So we do not multiply by 4p. And what we do here, can we factorize throughout? No, there's no common factor in all three terms. So we multiply first by last. That will give us 36p squared, positive. And the two factors that we will need to use, 6 and 6. That's p. 6, 6, 36, and 6 plus 6 is 12. This looks like a perfect square. Isn't that so? Alright. Yes, possibly. So let's look at it. 4p squared will be plus 6p plus 6p, and plus 9 equals 0. And it's going to be, common factor is 2p. And this will be 2p plus 3. 2p plus 3. This would be 3. And we'll have 2p plus 3. 2p plus 3 equals 0. So it is a perfect square. This is actually 2p plus 3, all squared. So either, we want to put either, because they're both the same. Okay, so we can say since 2p plus 3 equals 0, therefore 2p is equal to negative 3, where p is equal to negative 3 divided by 2. This is the solution for p. Negative 3 over 2. So it was a perfect square. So how could we have done it differently? Well, once we reach this step, we could have checked. Let's rewrite that. 4p squared plus 12p plus 9 equals 0. There's a square term which is 2p, all squared, plus 12p plus 3, this can be written as 3 squared. Notice if you multiply this times this, what do you get? You get 6p, and if you double 6p, you get 12p. So that would work. So it's basically 2p plus 3 all squared equals 0. Once that's the case, we can basically say that 2p plus 3 times 2p plus 3 equals 0, and we take it from there, as we did when we reached this stage. Okay, this is the last one, and if you try this on your own, I'm certain you recognize you had some trouble, right? I saved the best for last. Okay, multiplying the first by the last, what would you get? You end up with negative 2x squared, and there are no factors of 2 you can actually use to get 5. Okay, the only factors of 2, since 2 is a prime number, is 1 and 2. There's nothing you can do with that to get 5, and therefore it cannot be factorized. So yes, there are some quadratic expressions that cannot be factorized. So how do we solve it? Well, there's another method that we'll look in the next video, and this method is known as the formula, or using the formula. Alright, which we'll learn is x equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so it's x equal to and negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This formula will be given in your exam, so you don't have to try to memorize it, but you will memorize it by constant use. Okay, that's it. Okay, we need to solve this. Recognize it's a perfect square. This is a square number, this is a square number, and the middle term, you multiply the first by the last, 5x, and double it, you get 10, but it has to be negative 5x. Alright, let's check it out. X minus 5 equals 0, and therefore, should I put since x minus 5 equals 0, therefore x equals 5. Only have one solution. Put 5 here, becomes 0. Put 5 here, becomes 0. 0 times 0 is 0. That's a perfect square. We're solving quadratic equations using the formula. Now this is a formula. Now any equation in this form where a is not 0 and a, b, and c are real numbers, we can solve that equation using this formula. We basically use the numbers for a, b, and c and substitute it into the equation. Replace b, a, and c, as in this case, with the values in the equation, and then we can solve for the value of x. Let's look at some examples. Alright, so let's solve the last one, number 3. Now we're going to use the formula again. So the first thing we need to do is label. Make sure that we know that a is negative 5, b is equal to negative 7, and c is equal to positive 3. Why is that the first thing? Well, because it's already in standard form. You should always ensure first it's in standard form. Because it is, our first step is simply to label. And what a, b, and c stand for. The next step is substitute these values into the equation. Into the formula. And the formula is negative b plus minus the square root of b b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so let's plug those values in. Now this time I'm not going to use the side work, I'm going to simply plug everything in right from here. Now negative b means going to be the opposite sign to what positive b is. Positive b is negative 7, so negative b means negative 1 times this positive b. Okay, so negative 1 times b, or negative 1 times the value of b, which is negative 7, will give us positive 7. Plus minus the square root. If you have any trouble with that, you can try the side work. B squared, maybe we're going to square b. So we're going to square negative 7, which will be negative 7 times negative 7. It's going to give us 49, positive 49. Negative 4, let's put that back. Negative 4 times a. So I'm going to just write that out. Negative 4, what's a? A is negative 5. And c, which is actually positive 3. Over 2 times the value of a. 2 times a is negative 5. Now let's continue. X is equal to plus minus the square root of part of 49. Now because you're multiplying here, we have to multiply all these 3 terms. That's important. So it's going to be 49. Now negative times negative is positive, and positive times positive is positive. That's important. Get this sign out the way. 4 5 is 20. 20 times 3, 60. 2 5s, that's 10. Unlike sign, that's negative. And so we have x equal to 7 plus or minus. Now the square root of 49 plus 60, that's 109 over negative 10. Alright, what's the next step? You should already know. Okay, the next step is to find the square root of 109. And so that will be equal to, let's put the implication sign so I can write x equal to, next step, implication, x equal to 7 plus or minus the square root of 109 to 3 decimal place. That will give us, using the calculator, 10.440. I don't have to put a 0 there, that's fine. Divided by negative 10. I was going to have 3 decimal place, but because it's 0, we don't need to put it. Negative 10. Okay, so we need to divide by negative 10, but we can't until we work on the top, and the top has plus or minus, so we need to separate it. We define the sum of these 2 numbers, then the difference of these 2 numbers. So it's going to be either, taking the sum first, x is equal to, the sum of these 2 numbers will be 7 plus the 10.44 divided by negative 10, or x equal to, let's use difference now, 7 minus 10.44, and then we divide by negative 10 as well. Let's work that out. This will give us 17.44 divided by 10, negative 10 that is, or x will be equal to, this will give us negative, unlike signs, different signs, we're going to find the difference between these 2 numbers, negative 3.44 divided by negative 10, and then we find a solution to those 2. Okay, dividing this top number by 10, point move 1 place to the left, because we're dividing by a power of 10, the first one. Dividing by 10, move only 1 time. So you have 1.744. And unlike signs, and so that will become, this is positive. So unlike signs, so that's going to be negative 1.744. Or x equal to, let's work on this part. Dividing by 10, move 1 place inwards, to the left that is. We're going to get 0.344, and so this becomes 0 here, and like sign says it will be positive. So these are the 2 solutions for x. Alright, so either x is equal to negative 1.744 or x is equal to 0.344. Okay, and so that's it. Okay, so we want to solve this equation, but the problem is it's not in the standard form. The standard form must be equal to 0. In this case, this equation is equal to 10. So you need to subtract 10 from here to bring it to 0, and subtracting 10 from both sides, that is, we'll end up with 6x squared plus 11x minus